The ground beneath us trembled as the figure raised its staff, and the air around us grew cold. Shadows began to swirl around the figure, taking on the forms of monstrous creatures, their red eyes glowing with hunger. But these were not like the creatures Shango and Zeus had faced before. These shadows were different, more powerful, more dangerous. I watched in horror as the shadows began to spread, creeping towards the village, towards the people. We were all in danger now. Shango wasted no time. With a roar, he charged at the figure, his axe raised high above his head. Thunder boomed in the sky as he brought the weapon down with all his might. But the figure simply raised its hand, catching the blade with ease. The force of the impact sent shockwaves through the ground, but the figure remained unfazed. "You are nothing to me," the figure hissed, and with a flick of its wrist, it sent Shango flying back across the clearing. The god of thunder crashed into the ground with a thunderous roar, but he quickly got to his feet, his eyes burning with fury. Zeus, seeing his opportunity, unleashed a bolt of lightning so powerful that it lit up the entire sky. The bolt struck the figure square in the chest, but instead of destroying it, the lightning seemed to be absorbed into the dark cloak, vanishing without a trace. The figure laughed, a sound so cold and cruel that it sent chills down my spine. "Your power is meaningless here," it said. "The darkness cannot be destroyed by lightning or thunder. It feeds on your conflict, on your hate. The more you fight, the stronger I become." The words hit harder than any blow. Zeus and Shango exchanged a look of uncertainty, their previous confidence now wavering. The woman in white stepped forward, her eyes wide with urgency. "You cannot defeat it with force. You must find another way. You must banish it. But to do so, you must work together, truly work together. As one." Shango wiped the blood from his mouth, his voice a low growl. "How do we do that?" "There is a way," she said, stepping between them. "Your powers are opposites, but together, they can form a force stronger than either of you alone. You must combine your energy, not in conflict, but in harmony." Zeus frowned, his hand tightening on his thunderbolt. "Harmony? We are gods of destruction, not harmony." The woman's gaze was unyielding. "Destruction is only one side of the coin. The other is creation. You have the power to destroy, yes, but you also have the power to create. Together, you can create a force that will banish the darkness back to the void. But you must trust each other." But Shango and Zeus were no longer listening. Slowly, they raised their hands, and as they did, the air around them began to shift. The storm above quieted, and the lightning that had once struck in random flashes now gathered into a single, concentrated point. Thunder rolled in the distance, but it was no longer wild and uncontrolled. It was purposeful, directed. Shango's energy, raw and untanned, combined with Zeus' precise and focused power. Together, they formed a single, unified force, one that radiated with both creation and destruction. The ground beneath their feet trembled, and the sky above them began to glow with a brilliant, blinding light. The figure of darkness recoiled, its eyes narrowing in fear for the first time. It raised its staff, preparing to strike, but it was too late. With a roar, Shango and Zeus unleashed their combined power. The light that burst forth from their hands was unlike anything I had ever seen. It was a force of pure creation, of life, of light. It surged towards the figure of darkness, enveloping it in a blinding glow. The figure screamed, its voice filled with rage and terror as the light consumed it. The shadows around it began to dissolve, the creatures disappearing into nothingness. The breach in the sky began to close, the tendrils of darkness retreating as the light banished them back to the void. For a moment, the figure of darkness fought back, struggling to hold onto its form. But it was no use. The power of Shango and Zeus was too great, too pure. The figure let out one final, anguished scream before it was swallowed by the light, disappearing into the void from which it had come. The breach closed with a deafening clap of thunder, and the world fell silent once more. Shango and Zeus stood side by side, their chests heaving with exhaustion. The light around them faded, and the storm clouds above began to disperse, revealing the clear, blue sky once more. The darkness was gone, the village was safe. But as Shango and Zeus looked at each other, there was no sense of victory, no celebration. They had done what they had to do, but the cost had been great. Their pride, their rivalry, it had nearly destroyed them. And while they had worked together to save the world, their relationship would never be the same. The woman in white stepped forward, her expression softening. "You have done well," she said. "The Creator will be pleased." But Shango and Zeus said nothing. They simply nodded, their eyes distant as they turned and walked away. their steps heavy with the weight of what had just transpired. As I watched them go, I couldn't help but wonder what would happen next. The darkness had been banished, but I knew, deep down, that it would not be the last time the world would face such a threat. There would always be new challenges, new enemies, but for now, at least, we were safe, and that was enough. Peace and happiness returned to the village as the sky cleared, sunlight warming the earth once more. Laughter filled the air as children ran freely, and villagers emerged with joy and relief. The elders gathered in gratitude, thankful for the light that had finally banished the darkness, restoring life's natural rhythm.